What's going on, everyone? Slovosh here. Wanted to bring you guys a new video with Mr. Fantastic. Just want to show you guys what I've been up to and what my favorite build is currently with Mr. Fantastic. He is currently very, very strong, and I just kind of wanted to showcase that and just run him through and I think this is becoming the new standard of test for heroes, since the Times Square or Ultron terminal is probably one of the harder, if not the hardest terminal in the game right now. As you can see by the outline and the text there, this is cosmic difficulty, so this is harder to get. So right now on live, and today is the 26th, I believe, of January, so we just got patch 2.01. Just want to run through his skills real quick and then his talents. I'm going to do his skills based on this skill bar down here, then I'll open it up to show you the talents. So left click, I'm doing Mallet Fist. This is very good. This is a cooldown skill. Basically, these help charge up his positron emitter, because this is basically a ranged positron emitter build, or the newer version of what he used to be on live server. So we need cooldown skills to fill out his skill bar so that he can really get these charges up to 30. So as I'm sitting here, this is starting to count up because that's part of positron emitter, but we'll get to that in a second. So my A button, I'm always dash on A button. I haven't been really using this at all. I've played so much Test Center that the dash mechanics to me, since Mr. Fantastic was my main and his dash was always a little underwhelming, I just got used to running around anyways or doing the wheel. So for long distances, I use the wheel. For dashing now, I only do that if I'm stuck or I see a projected attack, and then I'll dash out of the way, which I think is technically what they want me to be doing, so that's how I'm functioning. And we get 3 charges, 4-second cooldown on that, just like every other person's dash. As the S button, we got Graviton Emitter. Graviton Emitter is basically a throwable ranged area device. This is going to add vulnerability, and then it also gets cooldown synergies with all the other cooldown skills. So Mallet Fist, this, and Hyperstatic Inducer all will synergize each other, add 30% extra damage if one of these is already on cooldown. And that comes from a talent, which we'll get to in a second. Next, we got Hyperstatic Inducer. Hyperstatic Inducer is again a throwable AoE device, so this counts as ranged area, and it does a dot damage. It projects a little circle on the first guy that it hits, and if it hits a wall, it will project off the wall. And there's a talent that modifies this that makes it absolutely incredible. Actually, 2 talents that make it absolutely incredible. So these 2 right here are main, I would say, are main damage dealers 90% of the time, and then boss killer is positron emitter. So kind of jumping ahead of myself, but let's keep going down the list here. We got Stretchy Spheroid. This is Reed's new mechanic for movement, and he does a shapeshift into a giant ball where he can bounce in and out of that form, and certain builds use that form to add additional buffs, damage reduction, damage, modifies some skills, things like that. So very cool mechanic. However, the reason we got it in this build for positron emitter, and this is something not too many people know about, is that this holds 3 charges each on individual 6-second cooldowns. So this one skill on your 8 skill bar, I mean, you only have 8 spots here to pick, but this one skill alone will count as 3 cooldown charges for positron emitter. So with basically a 6-second cooldown for each charge, this and all of your other cooldowns, so now I effectively have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cooldown skills, 7 if you count the nullifier, and I don't know if Outwit actually counts towards itself, but so we have upwards of 7 cooldown skills on an 8 skill bar, so it makes it really nice, or something along those lines. But yeah, that's why this is here. This is also really good for movement. It's pretty quick when you're in it. You don't lose any movement ability, and it's basically a filler for when your other skills are on cooldown. So when you're not doing Graviton Emitter, Inducer, or Mallet Fisting, you're typically in Spheroid bouncing in and out. But you have to do this smart, because he has to get into melee range. Stretchy Spheroid can also be used as a movement or a hop And what I mean by hop is it can actually jump over top of fences or down a structure kind of thing. So it has a lot of utility. So it's an absolute go-to. Not to mention the damage this thing does right now is absolute beast. It goes anywhere from 150k to I've seen 630k just per one dash, or whatever they call it, the stomp or the bounce on people. So it hits really hard too, and it's area, so it affects tons of guys. So if you have a horde, it's really good for clearing. Great trash clear skill, great for charging this up as you're moving around through like a patrol zone or a terminal or something like that. As the G skill, we got Micro Nullifier Prototype. This is basically his signature. This is amazing for trash clear. Anyone who's not a boss or a mini boss, just instantly gone. So you have to plan that accordingly, and especially when the difficulty starts to get harder, like in Omega, on the difficulty slider, I can just see this thing becoming better and better and better. So this is really good for getting rid of some of those bad guys that just aren't going away with your normal skills. And then this also hits really hard, usually over 1 million for me, because it's guaranteed critical, which means it's a lot better chance of actually brutal striking a guy. 25-second cooldown, and it recharges when you hit Outwit. So this is just a no-brainer for me. This move is actually really nice. It's ranged area, so it affects multiple guys in a big arc. Let's see if I can show you how big the arc is. No, it's glitched. So it used to show like projected what your attacks would look like on the ground. Maybe it's just this area or something, but it's about 180 degrees in front of you, a big cone, probably about out to here, out to there, just like a big cone triangle kind of in front of them. So it hits a lot of guys. Very good for trash clear. And then finally we have Outwit. Outwit is basically your spike damage move. This allows this build for Reed to literally double his damage. So everything is basically leading up to a fully synergized positron emitter, which is at 30 stacks. And at 30 stacks, he's guaranteed a brutal strike with this. And if you can read that tooltip, you know that this thing does some serious damage once it's fully charged. So Outwit basically resets all of your cooldowns except for your dash, which is nice. So you can basically throw your 2 devices, Hammer Fist. It doesn't recharge the Stretchy Spheroid either, but it does recharge your signature. So you can do both your devices, your Mallet Fist, signature, and then Outwit. And you'll get both those back, Mallet Fist, signature again. And then the nice thing is with a certain talent on Outwit, you automatically go to 30 charges of positron emitter, which allows you to get that brutal strike once again. So that's the gist of the 1 through 8 skills on the bar. Let's go to the talents. The talent that modifies Outwit to make it really work for a positron emitter build. Absolute necessity in my mind if you're doing a positron emitter build. Anything else is kind of a waste. I think is Circular Logic. This helps with the cooldown of Outwit being able to pop up more often. So every time you use a cooldown skill, it reduces Outwit's cooldown, which is 50 seconds with this skill on. But every second it counts down on its own. But then also every time you activate another cooldown skill, which is, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skills, it reduces a lot less than 50 seconds. So you get this a lot more often than you think. So that's to modify this, which also helps positron emitter, because this says whenever you use Outwit, it automatically restores full positron emitter charges. So instead of building up to 30, you can just hit this one time and you automatically have 30. So it's great for damage. This is the bread and butter of this build, I would say. Fully functional devices. This makes these 2 throwable AoE moves get full cooldown synergy bonus effects and 100% critical chance. So just makes these things hit like freight trains, especially the hyperstatic inducer. Graviton emitter, you'll pull guys in. Both these guaranteed critical strikes every time, so you have a lot higher % chance of rolling a brutal strike, because you have to have a critical strike in order to get a brutal strike. So depending on what your brutal strike rating is, you're going to hit it a lot more than you think. So you'll see a lot of big red numbers. So Fully functional devices, absolute necessity for this build. We got Tesla Microcoil. This is bar none Reed's best damaging move, or sustained DPS move, I should say. This just absolutely kills mobs. This kills bosses, and you can sometimes have an overlap of 2 of these out, and they'll affect the same guy multiple times. So this move is just sorry, it's the hyperstatic reducer. This move becomes absolute beast mode because of Tesla Microcoil. So run this with that, and every hit of this Tesla Microcoil becomes a critical, so you can just imagine the damage output. And then also we're modifying the graviton emitter, which is the other throwable device, to pulse an additional 2 times. So this will hit 3 times total, big area of effect. Every one of those pulses is also critical. So a lot of our kit is guaranteed critical strikes and brutal strikes, so makes gearing a lot less dependent on critical strike rating, as well as infinity system. Excuse me. It's a lot less dependent on critical and brutal strike rating because you're guaranteed those through skills and talents. So makes gearing interesting. And then finally, with the talents, we're doing maximize positron emission. This allows the positron emitter to get a guaranteed brutal strike when it's at full charges, and it raises the charge limit from 15 to 30, so you effectively get 100% more damage. It's basically double the damage that it normally can put out. So very, very good for DPS. This is, like I said earlier, this is the boss killer. You typically will use this just on bosses once it's at 30 stacks. However, to fill in, and sometimes when you're towards the end of a boss fight, you can let the positron emitter go at any point. It doesn't have to be fully charged, especially if you have an outwit in your back pocket. You can drain the charges off this and then outwit and immediately get 30 back. So it's very situational that you'll use it outside of its max charges, but sometimes it works very well. And that's kind of up to your discretion how you like to do it. Trash clear, you can use it anytime. If you're just going for boss kills with it, which it does very well, you leave it fully charged. So, to the infinity system, Reed is an intelligence and durability character, so we're maxing intelligence first. Point dump goes into health regeneration. Under the power gem, I'm doing indomitable. This helps with survivability tremendously. And then any points left over, I'm doing into potency, just because Reed's signature is not too bad. So we'll dump that extra point there. Under the reality gem, since I was talking about how Reed has a lot of guaranteed criticals in his kit, the very first one that I unlock is magic bullets. The critical damage percentage is huge. Since you're going to get criticals every time, it doesn't matter what your rating is. It's through the skill. It's a critical. So this comes second, just for like positron emitter, trying to ramp the damage up on that. So max magic bullets, then tilt the odds. Under the soul gem, I maxed out God Among Insects first. This base damage ramping is so good for survivability. It's probably one of the better infinity nodes, I would say, point wise, for what it gives you. And then anything after that I would probably put into brutal damage, just because you're guaranteed some brutal strikes through some of his kit. So that would be where I go next in that. Under space gem, since durability is our main stat, we're going to put points in durability, and durability is actually a very good attribute anyways. It gives you health and defense, so it's very good. So we're maxing durability. Then point dump is micro warps, and red shift is actually not a bad idea. Point wise, I'm not sure how effective this is, but a lot of your moves have area tags, so this is another option if you're trying to up your DPS. Maybe put it here in red shift. And under the time gem, I always max haste. It just helps with evasion a lot more. You don't actually feel like you need to dash because you're just traveling 50% faster all the time. And then Chrono Surge for him, because his spheroid is a movement tagged skill. So since you're filling in a lot of your kit with this, why not get some extra damage on it? And this skill ramps up very quickly for damage percentages, so actually helps quite a bit. I think that wraps it up for the infinity system. Under the hero synergies, let's go over here, start with Cable. Doing Cyclops, since we're now infinity grinding, why not always leave that on? I feel like that's never a bad thing. And now Reed's kit, because of the microcoils and things, he actually does have some energy damage built in, so doesn't hurt to have that on either. Doing Elektra, Human Torch for area damage, Mr. Fantastic for critical crafting discount. I could probably take that off and put something else on, but we'll leave it on because you never know how much you'll need to craft, and that saves you a boatload of stuff. Moon Knight, because he's mostly physical powers, why not ramp up the critical hit rating? Nightcrawler has a lot of melee tags, so definitely get some more melee damage there. And then we're doing War Machine. Fighting is still a pretty good attribute. This could probably be changed, to be honest, to something a little more in line with Reed. When Beast comes out, it'll definitely be Beast. His is like intelligence and melee damage, so that's like perfect for Mr. Fantastic. Wolverine for the brutal and brutal damage, and then since he is a hybrid melee ranged hero, Winter Soldier is excellent. So with all that being said, guys, hopefully you're still watching me. I would like to demonstrate the power of this build again in the cosmic difficulty Times Square terminal. Let's just go down and get it. And from here on out, I'll probably just be rambling. Hopefully no cursing. But we'll throw our two devices, do some hammer fist, and you can see that it is just pumping out the damage. So a strategy with this type of build is these coils, you can see where they are. Sometimes with the speed that I have just through that haste talent, I will just literally train guys around them and just let that thing eat them away. It's almost too good. But these guys, I'm just going to go ahead and hit with the micro nullifier. Okay, so now we have two of these out. This is what I'm talking about training. You just kind of stay away from these guys, let them do the work for you. These two throwables are just incredible damage, man. I didn't even have to do anything there. You just stand back and watch. All right, double attorney splinter drop. I'll take that any day of the week. I know they're coming out of this door, so just put it there. Let it do some work. I feel like this is like a Trapesin build now from Diablo 2, if you ever played that. You can throw these devices forward and then just forget everything else. Just, you know, hang out. So this is one of my favorite things to do. I like to round them up with my speed from haste. Round them all up. Take them out. Positron emitter. Let him pour on the damage. Yeah, you can't be afraid to kite anymore, especially when you have haste on. I mean, you can outrun these bosses like it's your job. I haven't even had the med kit really, I don't think. I think I put one on. We'll do a full clear here. Should go pretty smooth. I wish you'd die there, buddy. Alright. Moving on. Must be getting some lag or something. I thought I already killed them. There's my first med kit. Yeah. Reed used to have a mechanic that would help his cooldown, so you wouldn't have so much like standing around, sitting on your thumb kind of thing going on, but this ball form here, that helps fill in those gaps a little bit. Let's just take them out with the nullifier. We'll just train these guys right down into where we want them. If you see that on your screen, just run guys towards it, and they will be gone in no time. Alright. You're still alive over here? Let's get this guy out of here too. I really see, like right now I could destroy him with the positron emitter, but I'm saving it for this double wave here. So lead off with one of these, let that chew away at him. Just got to be very heads up with the projected attacks on the ground. Oof. Almost got me there. Why is that not coming out? There we go. I gotta say, man, this is some bull. Pop a med kit here since they're free now. It's another nice thing about Mr. Fantastic. Intelligence reduces med kit cooldown, so feel free to spam the heck out of this. Let's get back here. We want that envelope. What the? I don't know how many screens back it is, but I'm not going back now. That envelope for someone else. It is Ultron time. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with my let's do the ultimate. Just hope I survive this. Whew. Made it out. Hey there, fellas. See ya. Alright. I don't know where that wave of guys just came from, but that's not cool. Thought I killed them all. There we go. Let's get our loot. And we'll go over gearing real quick, since I failed to do that earlier. And that was what someone asked me about earlier. What am I using gear-wise? Let me tell you. So this is what I'm currently running. I have quite a bit of alternative artifacts that I've been testing right now, but this is what I've been enjoying, and especially after this latest patch 2.01, they made the Magneto t-shirt really good for ranged read, which is this build. So doing the Blessed Magneto was Right t-shirt, this can roll with up to 5 of your primary stats. That is huge, and it also has crit and damage rating for power. Range powers, I should say. So we're using that. There's obviously tons of artifacts that are very good in the place of this. Advanced Circlet of Sidorak, that's another great alternative to this. But this is untyped damage, so this also will affect energy-based moves that are ranged, so that's why I put it here. Blessed Gem of the Curse, this is a no-brainer for any hybrid hero, or a lot of heroes anyways right now. Just the critical and brutal damage rating that you get off this are huge. I mean, honestly, the crit hit rating doesn't matter that much to me because my 2 main moves are guaranteed crits. So I'm not really looking for crit rating. I'm actually looking for the damage rating. So that's that. Using the Medallion of the Dark Dimension, this thing with good rolls is killer for read. You're getting 6 primary stats, over 2,000 health, crit damage rating, which is what we need, dodges, whatever, and then it also has a chance to vaporize people, so you're getting a lot of like alternative nullifier damage there going on. Doing the Blessed Crossbones credentials with Hella Blessing and Intelligence roll on it, so you get 3 primary stats, damage on ranged and melee. You get some additional brutal damage rating whenever you hit a critical, which is all the time. You will always have that brutal damage stacked. I mean, it's a guaranteed crit, so you always have it. So, I mean, you're getting like 1,500 brutal damage just from this one artifact alone. So that's monster for your positron emitter. Doing the Blessed Edge of Affinity, if you're lucky to find enough one of these. I found like 6 of these doing Cosmic Midtown, so they're not that hard to find. So if you're trading like an arm and a leg for this thing, you really shouldn't. Just kill bosses in Cosmic Midtown, and you'll probably get one in no time. I mean, I know RNGesus has probably blessed me very well, but this thing is not that hard to come by. So I don't know what the current market value is, but they're great. 1 to all attributes means I'm getting 2 of my primary stats off this. A primary stat is equivalent, I think someone with better mathematics than me figured this out, that it's basically 160 damage rating. So this is giving me, you know, a little over, what would it be, 320 damage just from that, then extra damage on top of it just through flat untyped damage. Then I'm getting brutal strike rating, critical damage. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Relic of Atlantis is better than it ever has been for read in this new kit because of the guaranteed criticals, so you're always getting that crit damage rating, you know, pretty much plugged in. So we're doing this Sling Ring, just because I haven't really figured out if I want to do this or what was the other one? The Midtown Signet, just because he's moving so much with the spheroid, you'd have a lot more, percentage damage all the time. And it's like a 30% critical guaranteed hit for your next movement build or movement move. So I was debating on doing that, but this sling ring, it gives you that invulnerability shield, which not too many things do anymore. That's basically just no damage anytime you use your signature. So basically you can kind of time your signature into just being an invulnerability shield. With this, it's also adding physical power damage, but mainly I'm using it because it just gives you so much health. So, and the attack speed isn't bad for the throwing animations of the two things here. You can see how much quicker he can throw those because of his attack speed. So, I know that's probably not hitting a break point to make a difference, but you can get what I'm saying. The faster your attack speed, the faster you'll throw those. So, using all of his own 1 through 5 slots, an argument can be made for the hammer, the scroll hammer, or even a fragment of twilight, which I have some. I just haven't transferred over to him because I'm actually content with getting 5 primary stat from his own unique, and then it seems to have decent critical damage rating and brutal damage rating, which is all we really need, and it multiplies the damages from his slot 3, so I'm really happy with that. Still running an Axe of Ares, level 80 grade. The critical and brutal are, great, but really it's the brutal damage and the physical damage rating that we're going with this on. The bleed is just the cherry on the top. Under the core, I'm just using my old core. I haven't found a new one with all the crazy affixes on it, so I'm still looking for that. But this is still a trifecta from back before the catalyst change. I'm using a Spider-Man's Insignia with critical and brutal damage rating. This is amazing for Mr. Fantastic, just because he's always in his rotation of melee to range. So you're gonna have those procs up pretty much 100% of the time. And I'm still grinding on making a perfect pet for myself. So I'll probably be re-rolling that green affix. I didn't realize it capped out already, but that's terrible. So that's my gear. That's my build. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions for other videos, leave them in the comments below. I know that someone has asked me for a video on my gearing for a movement build with Reed, so that will probably be next. But truth be told is this is my favorite build right now. This is so effective versus endgame that it's insane. Like, people are already saying he's probably going to get nerfed because this is so good. Let's hope he doesn't. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.